What if pain could become your greatest strength? What if your greatest pain could become your greatest strength? If you had 24 hours left, how would you spend them? Now, imagine carrying years of suffering, asking yourself, why me? This is the story of a young man who asked that very question and discovered a powerful truth that changed his life forever. The young man's suffering. A long time ago, in a small village near the foothills of a great mountain, there lived a young man named Jatin. He had experienced immense suffering. His father had passed away when he was a child. His family struggled to make ends meet, and despite his hard work, life never seemed to favor him. Every day, he carried his burdens like a heavy weight on his shoulders, constantly asking, "Why me? Why must I suffer so much while others seem to live happily?" One day, a traveler passing through the village noticed Jatin's sorrowful face and advised him, "If you truly seek answers, go to the monastery atop the mountain. There, a wise monk named Venerable Sona will help you find peace." Though skeptical, Jatin's desperation led him to make the arduous journey up the steep mountain path. He arrived at the monastery, exhausted but hopeful, and found the wise monk sitting peacefully under a large Bodhi tree. The lesson of the hot coal. Seeing Jatin's troubled expression, Venerable Sona gently asked, "My child, what troubles you?" Jatin poured out his sorrows, telling the monk about his struggles, his losses, and the deep resentment he carried toward life. "I feel like the universe has cursed me," he said. "No matter how hard I try, pain and suffering never leave my side." The monk listened patiently, and then picked up a small burning coal from the nearby fire pit. Holding it in his palm for a few seconds, he asked, "Jatin, if I hold on to this burning coal, who does it hurt more, me or the fire?" Jatin was confused but replied, "It hurts you, master. The fire does not suffer, only your hand burns." The monk nodded, dropping the coal onto the ground. "Suffering is the same, my child. When we hold on to pain, resentment, and sorrow, we are the ones who suffer the most. The world continues as it is, unaffected by our grief. The only way to free yourself is to let go." Jatin sat in silence, absorbing the monk's words. He had never thought about pain in this way before. The parable of the wounded warrior. Noticing that Jatin still struggled to understand, the monk told him a parable. There was once a great warrior who was wounded in battle. The arrow in his body caused him excruciating pain, but instead of removing it, he spent his time asking, "Who shot this arrow? Why did they do it? What was their intention?" Days passed, and he remained in agony, consumed by his questions rather than tending to his wound. Sona then turned to Jatin and said, "Are you not like that warrior? Instead of healing, you focus on questioning why pain exists. But pain itself is not the enemy. It is what we do with it that defines our journey." Pain as a teacher, not an enemy. Jatin listened carefully and asked, "But how do I let go? How do I transform my suffering into something meaningful?" Venerable Sona smiled and replied, "Buddha taught that pain is an inevitable part of life, but suffering is a choice. Pain can destroy us, or it can teach us. It is up to us how we use it." He continued, "Instead of asking, 'Why me?' ask, 'What can I learn from this?' When we shift our mindset, pain becomes a teacher, guiding us toward wisdom and compassion. Every great being has faced suffering, but those who rise above it are the ones who transform it into a purpose." Jatin reflected on these words. His suffering had consumed him, but perhaps it could also be a force for change. The act of letting go. The monk then guided Jatin in a small exercise. "Close your eyes," Sona instructed. Imagine holding all your pain and sorrow in your hands. Feel its weight. Now, visualize opening your hands and releasing it into the wind. Watch it scatter and dissolve. You are no longer holding on to it. Jatin did as he was told. A strange lightness filled his heart as he imagined letting go of his burdens. The monk said, "This is the first step. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means choosing not to let pain control you anymore." The gift of helping others. Feeling lighter than he had in years, Jatin asked, "But how do I give my suffering purpose?" Venerable Sona smiled. The best way to transform pain is to use it to help others. When we channel our struggles into acts of kindness, we turn suffering into strength. Every hardship you have endured has given you wisdom that others may need. Share it. Jatin thought of others in his village who suffered as he did. Perhaps, instead of drowning in his own sorrow, he could help them through their pain. That day, he made a vow. Instead of asking why he suffered, he would use his pain to help others heal. Jatin's transformation. Jatin returned to his village with a new sense of purpose. He started helping the elderly, guiding younger children, and comforting those who were grieving. Over time, he found that in easing the suffering of others, his own pain lessened. He remembered Buddha's words, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared." Each time he shared his kindness, his heart felt lighter. His suffering had transformed, not into bitterness, but into wisdom and compassion. Moral of the story. Gautama Buddha once said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts." Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The way we perceive our pain shapes our future. We can choose to hold on to pain, or we can learn from it and grow. The best way to heal is to help others heal. If we change our thoughts, we change our life. Conclusion. Jatin's story is a reminder that our struggles do not define us. Our response to them does. Pain is not a punishment, it is a lesson, a teacher, a guide. If we embrace it with wisdom, patience, and compassion, we can transform even the deepest suffering into a force for good. Now ask yourself, what pain are you holding on to? How can you use it to create something meaningful? Let go, transform, and watch how your life changes. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Tell us, how have you transformed your pain into purpose? And if you love motivational stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video.